So the next exercise is to try to change the logo. Now, in the past, we would probably use inner HTML, but we are going to use something a little bit different. We are going to try to replace this node with our own created node. So when I inspect it, I notice that it has this SVG element, which is, you can sort of think of it like an image. Just note for now that I can replace this node with our own node. So what is the parent node of this? It is a tag. So let's try to grab the parent tag so that later we can replace this node with our own node. Okay. So to grab it, let's look at the attributes. There's no ID. There is a class, so I could say query selector dot indigo logo. However, just to be different and to show you something new, it doesn't have to be a class or an ID. It could be something else. Let's try this. The data-a8n. So let's copy that. Let logo equals, or, sorry, forgot the document. And just like where we try to find that class name that begins with, we'll use the same kind of syntax. So this time, give me any kind of attribute that has data-a8n, I believe, and that should be good enough. Actually, I didn't even need to use the class name. I could say this, but just to see what happened. Let me just see what would happen. And then type in logo. Do I get it? Ah, interesting. Oh, I got some other stuff. So I should use, yeah, okay, so let's try that again. So logo equals that. And because I declared it before, I don't want the let. There. Now I have the proper node, which has that SVG element. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create our own element. So let own element equals document.createElement. And the first parameter it expects is what kind of HTML tag. So we want an image tag. Okay. Great. So if I say own EL, it's just an image tag. But let's put our own image in it. So we want to figure out what to put inside the source attribute. So let's just grab quickly some kind of logo. I don't know, books. Great. So we'll use, I don't know, this one here. That's going to be a huge logo. We'll see what happens. All right. So we can say own el.source equals that. So now if I say own el, what do you have now? Aha, image source. So what we can do is we can try to insert that newly created node into the web page, into the DOM. So how do we do that? There is something called replaceChild. So how replaceChild works, just to look at the documentation, it expects the parent node dot replaceChild new node old node. Okay, so let's try that. Parent node. So the parent node was the what was it again? Logo, right? Yes. So logo dot and then replaceChild, and we're going to replace it with our new one, own el. And oh, we forgot the old one. The old one was the SVG one. So let's go back for a second. Let's look at this. Okay, so what we can do, there's no class, there's no ID. What we can do is we can actually just target this SVG element. So we can say something like, go back to here. So before we do that, let's say this. Let old element equals, and let's use, we had Actually, let's just go back to that, except we'll say let old element equals this, which gave us the A tag, the anchor tag, right? So that normally would give us this, but we don't want that, we want this. So how do we do that? Well, just like CSS, just put the next element in there. Let's see what happens. Do we get the SVG? We got the SVG. So now we can go back and say parent replace child new old. Let's see what happens with the logo as soon as I press enter. Wow.